Okay, I believe that we are live, and I am here with Coach Gobroski, founder of Champion in Command and co-founder of Strength Academy, which is an experience that helps people develop consistency with fitness, nutrition, and mental focus. Craig brings over 20 years of experience as an athlete and 5 years of experience coaching athletes. And I am super excited, very honored to be here today with him as he opens up his voice and speaks freely. So, Craig, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me, and certainly cheers. Want to make sure I make a toast with some water as we get started and cleanse the palate, right?
Excellent. Yes. So, since your 20s, you've had people approach you asking to get help dialing in their fitness and their nutrition. And I know that at some point you were even doing some personal training. You had people paying you to set up their meal plans and their gym routines so that they would get fit, but you stopped. Why did you stop doing that?
Yeah. I stopped specifically because I felt like it was a continuous band-aid that kept on going across all of these moments that people really needed to be able to have more of a system that was going to be able to deliver them that guidance that I knew was necessary. I found this guidance, especially early on as an athlete. And a lot of athletes, to be honest, don't even realize some of what the coaching is that is that is able to put that together, to have that mental focus, to be able to move themselves forward day in and day out. And personally, I felt like that was my calling on being challenged. I wasn't one of those athletes that was able to, make it into the NFL. For me, it was football, American football that I was playing. But just with my dedication to listening to coaches, to showing up day in and day out, taking in and absorbing what they were receiving, I was able to then implement my own routines and system to be able to make sure that I was just dialing in that day in and day out. But when it comes down to it, I knew that there was those shifts that were necessary that an athlete has. Hopefully that dials in your question.
Yeah, well, and so I think what I'm hearing you say is that meal plans and gym routines weren't enough. Like it felt like there
Yeah,
was something that was missing.
100%. I mean, those things, they're great. The person that is the bodybuilder that's sharing with you, if you are focused on an action of moving forward in the bodybuilding world. But a lot of times there was friends and people that I cared about, even in the bodybuilding space, that didn't know how to just balance their body out and make sure that they had this stronghold on their lifestyle moving forward. It was like it's either that or nothing. And the problem that I always found was, when you're dealing with adversity in life, it isn't just, go and just grind away your life away in a gym. It's, how can I implement this and make sure that I can now be active and move with the seasons? And especially as we grow with age, it's about being able to have that active lifestyle and know that you're not just wearing down your body, or that those were the good old days when I used to live life, like that you can actually continue to live life now and have that expression shown through the example that you're setting, maybe with your family, those around you in your community, your loved ones, your church. Your lifestyle is actually showing because you are being that example as you're living it. So
Okay, so what I feel like you're saying is that for whatever reason, it wasn't enough to just take people's money to put together a meal plan or a gym routine. Like something felt like it was missing. So,
yeah.
what I understand from the story that you've shared with me is that in your early 30s, you actually left coaching and the world of athletics because you were getting this hit that you were supposed to produce something. And there
Yeah.
were people who asked you, well, if you're not Coach Gobro, who are you? And
Yeah.
you bravely chose
I
to
was,
go
I was, yeah.
you
Yeah. I mean,
went
I
to go
was seen
find
in the
out.
eyes of people to be crazy for kind of what I was doing. It was like, you
Leaving, you
have this
mean?
dialed in. Sorry, there was a little glitch, so I thought you had.
Yeah, no, no, so you're saying they thought you were crazy for leaving?
Yeah, they thought that I was, I mean, obviously nobody's going to call me out directly to my face about it, but there was just a hesitance, like, wow, you're just going to basically sell your home, pack up everything, and go into a direction that you really have no understanding. I mean, the understanding of entrepreneurship is cool. I'm going to be able to go into this space and start creating a new way of seeing things. And I really didn't know what was in store for me. I didn't know some of the trials and tribulations that were there when it comes to, the loved ones passing during that time, when it came to relationships ending that you just really thought were just going to continue moving forward in a powerful way. Shifts of best friends not being there anymore to be able to call upon, to be able to have those conversations, and even best friends that couldn't have the conversations, like my guy Jerry right here. And then recently, I just ended up having a great companion also leave this earth as well. She's 17 and 4 months, and ended up having to put her to rest. So what I'm saying is these things happen in life, and the thing was being able to shift the way that you're seeing things. Now, through this process, I was able to access, moving, making the transition, and then stepping up and stepping forward. What I'm saying is not calling myself out, but actually calling myself up to this opportunity that was being presented to myself, was a lot of adversity. And that adversity can be it can drop you to your knees and make you just like say, hey, I'm done, I don't want any more of this. But at the same time, I also felt called to be able to say, hey, but what is the gold in this? What is this situation really delivering to me? And what I found to be true was I could take all of the resources that I had from being an athlete, and now I could transfer that focus, that mental focus, into a way that was going to help me persevere through some of the adversity and still keep my body in check. I mean, during like things like COVID, I mean, think about, if you were in COVID, there was probably a good portion, at least where I was, everybody across the nation, especially in the US, they had different experiences. I know the experience that I was in Southern California. I mean, there was a lockdown on not even being able to go out to the beach. Fortunately, I had a dog that I was able to walk around the block and just have, but I mean, they were literally giving out tickets, for crying out loud, on just being able to go out and just kind of feel, take a breath of fresh air and be able to move forward. So what I'm saying is even during that time, I saw people that were previous trainers, after the fact, that had gained a lot of weight, or like, I could see that there wasn't that click of how can I still make sure that I have the shifts necessary with my mental focus that is helping me persevere with the way that I'm eating and the way that I'm moving my body. Because those two things are necessary in this life for you to be able to thrive and make those decisions, those power moves for yourself, as I like to say. And those decisions are what are dictating your future. That's what you're moving into. So if we can't be powerful in the moment and make sure that we're working through things that are going to be able to help us instead of hinder us, then we're going to be stuck. And maybe that's, a situation for you. When I was in those situations in relationships that ended or whatnot, like you feel like you're stuck, but I'm telling you right now, there's actually a mechanism to be able to move through so that you don't end up finding yourself breaking yourself down, or feeling like you're down and out, or end up on the health roller coaster, so to speak. Those sort of things will take you out. And the main thing is can you show up consistently? I will always come. Your frequency is your consistency, right? Am I frequently showing up and showing up to my body so that I can end up making sure that I'm reaching and achieving my goal?
Yeah. Well, and I think that has been something obviously that has been pretty impressive. I mean, I think you've experienced a lot of transitions, and people might say, like, well, you were able to do that because you did or didn't have a house, or you did or didn't have a family, or you did or didn't have relationships. But the truth is that all of those things are really challenging, when and as you're going through them. And I just want to bring this up real quick because this is a composite that we put together from starting in Federal Way 2015, going through
Old F
October
Dub.
2020. Yeah. Taking through 2020, like those years. And then recently up until last year, when your hair was super long, you grew that out like
Yep.
really long. But I mean, I think part of like what we see with that though, is that there is this consistency that you bring to it. And I think it's kind of interesting because it's like, well, what were you doing for all of those years? And it's sort of like, proving that this works, proving that
Yes.
when
Yes.
everything kind of falls apart, you can actually still be prioritizing yourself and your health in that kind of way, your
A
fitness and
hundred,
nutrition.
100%. Thank you for just kind of pinpointing. I mean, That's really the clarity that I received. And even looking at that, like a part of me is like cringing just seeing a guy with abs, five, but that's what we're trying to make sure that is showing is a consistency over 10 years of going through the trials and tribulations of life. And yes, we can have the discussion that will just pull up more excuses on why this doesn't work for you when we're saying, oh, well, this guy doesn't have kids, so he doesn't have that in the equation, and he's not married, or he didn't have this. Like, you can part it out as much as you want, but the whole thing is, if what you're doing is not working for you and you don't have the consistency to show up for the plan, if it's the meal plan, if it's your workout plan, if it's just showing up for yourself in life, if you don't have that happening, then it's necessary to just say, hey, I'm going to put all of my excuses behind me, and I'm going to step into this new opportunity that's presenting itself, of somebody that actually said, hey, I know that I had the opportunity. I went for it and learned these lessons. And it can certainly shrink the time that you are spending trying to put all of these band-aids together to be able to end up finally bringing yourself to a point where you're exhausted trying to now make sure that you're implementing things properly. And to me,
So,
that just sounds like a bunch of noise instead of you focusing on your source,
well, and I
which is
love
this
that
vessel.
because I think like you left coaching because you were trying to produce something and like you felt that calling that there was something waiting to come through. So now that you've produced it, you have it.
Well,
Let's
real
show
quick,
it
I mean,
here.
and I want to actually share this because this was a moment that was pivotal for me. I was actually out on the field coaching track, and I had a couple of athletes that were with me, and I had this kind of spark of an arc that came through that was like, I was just sharing with them about going after their dreams. They're getting ready. Some of them were getting ready to graduate, and some of them were trying to figure out what to do. Some of them were, you're just in that kind of that space of the springtime of your senior year. And it was like, go after your dreams, go after those things. And it's like so cliche for so many coaches, so many people, teachers, administration, all of this kind of area, that everybody's saying that, but who's really showing up for it? And who's really willing to go through a lot of the adversity to F around and find out? And it was a gut check, because I'm like, wow, I'm preaching this to these kids, and I'm supposed to just, but I know that my heart is saying this to do this. And so I went with it. And
Yeah.
that's where obviously now it's moved into this. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I love it because what I hear in that is that moment of reflection, seeing yourself as a role model to these youngsters and stepping up to be that role model essentially to move
100%.
into that direction, regardless of what a lot of people had to say about it or what they thought, and said or didn't say to your face. I mean, it's like it takes a lot of guts to go forward with that. So, well, the big reveal though, because we want to know, you went away to produce this thing. What is it? Show
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So we created our playbook. And actually, this is without the cover. Let me make sure I have a cover for you.
The cover is pretty good.
Yeah. So this is obviously what they consider a dust cover in production or whatnot, but the Fit System Playbook, and that's getting lean and toned and strong by taking care of your body and brain. And so this is the foundation. It's the fundamentals. It's the part that I've been guided by so many coaches, so many friends, so many families, so many loved ones that have just instilled all of these different micro decisions over life, and especially my 20 years of coaching, or should I say 20 years of being an athlete and 5 years of coaching. And it's all just distilled into 100 pages, 100 pages of you actually being able to put in your own customization when it comes to working through that champion activation, when it comes to that's phase one, which is basically that mental focus piece. And then nourishment navigation, which is the next piece, which is all about your nourishment, or should I say your nutrition, right? But how do you navigate these things? Because it's
Especially
great
during the
when you,
holidays or when you're
yeah, it's great when
traveling.
you have a plan, right? It's great when you have a plan, but what do I do with it? How do I navigate, like trying to figure out what's right? How do I make the mental adjustments that are going to help me show up for myself, in city that comes up when you're dealing with the navigation part of it? I really want you to hone in on that, because that navigation is your fuel source as you're going in the direction of your goal. So you can work out all day long, but if you're not actually making sure that you're implementing the right fuel and making sure that you're showing up with energy and excited, guess what? That mental focus is going to take you there. Your nutrition, next thing you know, you're going to tank unless you have the right fuel, right? So we want to make sure that you're fueled up so that you can start producing those results for your body. What are those results for you? And that's where we move into the next phase, which is movement mastery, that third and final phase of the FIT system. And movement mastery is about mastering your body. Okay. It's not about we're foundation. We are building the foundation that you can stand strong on. That if you do choose to go and learn somebody else's program, you're going to have the essentials down, right? You're going to know what it takes to take care of your body, recover, show up powerfully in the world, and making sure that you have the right posture, making sure that you have the right technique on things, and just the simple things that help you make sure that you are bringing the best of yourself with every action, every season that's showing up, and especially with the gains that you're making as you grow in age, right?
Yeah,
So,
I love that. So take us inside and show I wanna see one of the pages or one of the spreads that you feel, like, particularly proud of that maybe
oh,
surprised you that, like, you didn't think that it was gonna be
I,
in there, you know? Like, something that
well,
surprised you.
I wouldn't say that well, okay, definitely situation adjusters. I think it's the pillar of everything. And we don't have time to be able to dive into that, but maybe, yeah, I think finding something that's actually going to be just a great, a game changer that I didn't know was going to be in here. Oh, this goes right into, I think, the heart of things. A lot of times when we are showing up for ourselves, we have to deal with the adversity and we don't really understand what that adversity is going to bring, right?
You mean, like,
So,
how big the challenge is gonna be
yeah, so we run
or
from it.
how much it's gonna
Yeah.
scare us
Or
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 yeah.
or from pain, right? So we go through some of these essentials where you get to understand that you're the number one asset, first of all. But the essentials of pain, I love breaking this down because once you start understanding the degrees of effort that you can bring, you understand how you are in control of your body and how you can start maximizing getting the most out of it while you're safely doing it, right? We are injury free and preventative. Like a lot of what we show up for is the preparation so that when it comes to game time, as I like to call it, and it comes to you showing up for yourself, you're not wearing yourself out, right? You're not hurting yourself because that's where the big drop off happens. That's where you fall off and you don't come back, right? Or you might not come back for years. I'm not going to
Oh,
say you don't come back at
100%.
all because a lot of you are trying to show up again and again and again. And the thing is, what's going to keep that consistency showing up? So I love the essentials and especially pain, specifically that pain portion. You're going to dive in and you're going to say, wow, I understand where I can push myself. I can get the most out of myself. And I'm making sure that I'm making those gains instead of hindering myself. We want to make sure things that you're doing are helpful and not hindering you.
I love
So
that.
yeah,
That's so good. Thanks for the little preview. And just because as we're talking about it, some of those pages look blank. What's up with
they
that?
are. They are. This was specifically built to make sure that you are actually walking through and going through a breakdown of every video that I walk you through, making sure that you are filling them out. You are playing, you are showing up, you are making sure that you are dialing this thing all in so that it is your own memento. It's not a journal. I love the journal portion of it, but this is something that's actually, you're going to be able to reference back to this and find this as a guide for yourself, right? You're going to be able to build independence with it. You're going to now take put, as I like to just say, hey, we're all a feedback loop. You end up taking in a lot of things in this world, social media, you're taking in a lot of information, but what is going out? And we want to make sure that you can hold in your hands, right? Something tangible that you can now actually refer back to, touch base on, move through, and it's all about you. It's making sure that you are making those moves as you are filling out even your own slip here. Okay. So these blanks, are for you to be able to actually understand and move through each video. It's a
Of
very
that.
interactive experience, as I
That's
like to
so
say.
good. That's so good. So basically, it's kind of like note taking blended with fitness, nutrition. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And then
So
once you get those keys down, guess what? You have that sustainable foundation for yourself. So if life comes by, it's not going to shake you off of your ground. You're having that unwavering confidence to make sure that you can still show up for yourself day in and day out.
yeah, I mean, I think essentially what you're saying is that everything that's in there is basically how you have maintained this for over a decade without steroids.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and that's literally just showing you it was awesome actually putting that together, because there's some of those moments where it's like, wow, I was persevering and pushing through some of those moments that you don't even know the impact you're having. But thankfully, like, there's those moments you take those snapshots, and I had enough of them where my abs were showing, so it worked out. But I mean, that's the whole point about it. And don't let that be a comparison. I think that in today's day and age, we start kind of having these comparisons of. I mean, I had one gentleman that was actually sharing, "Hey, that's not me. That'll never be me. I don't. I'm never going to have those." And I'm not saying that that is something that is for you or you would have it, but just let's tone down and let's shift the conversation mentally that says, "Hey, it's a possible, and I can if I can even just open myself, kind of results could happen, right?" And those are the things that we want to start moving in motion. That doesn't mean, I always like to just, there's, the thing that we just know that's wrong, that is there. It might be real, it might be true, but is it helping you or is it hindering you? And we want to make sure that we want that third one, which the one that is helping you, not the one that is hindering you. I'm not saying not both right. They're not both correct. You know, abs might not be for you, but that doesn't mean that you still can't gain the benefits and start moving in that direction, gaining the energy, having the interactions, the activities, looking confident naked in the mirror. I mean, think about, just stare in the mirror for 30 seconds at yourself and tell me that you're not proud of what you see. And if that is an issue, not for some vain reason, but just because you are a beautiful freaking vessel, right? That's the person that we want to start making sure that we're empowering, that champion. And that champion is what I see in everyone.
I love it. Well, and we do have a little bit of internet connection issues, so I think
Uh,
maybe we should wrap up. But if people have questions about the book for the Fit System or Strength Academy, how should they contact you?
yeah. So, I mean, Strength Academy is exactly what it is. We have a great course that you're able to go through where we actually show up with you, moving through that daily, or should I say weekly. We make sure that we have assignments. You have live coaching, moving through those assignments. You make sure that you're finishing those assignments, and we're moving you through the process so that you have this thing dialed in. So you can contact us at championandcommand.com. And yeah, I guess that we can leave a link or whatnot in the comments.
We'll
I'm
put a
I'm
link.
I'm
We'll
getting
put a
used to the
link.
to the mode of it, but this is the thing. This is the shift of me being able to step out and express some of this stuff, because I know that it's gold for you. The main thing is regardless of the way to contact me, let's just make sure that you do have an opportunity. However, you can click into this YouTube channel. I'm sure that there's a way to be able to message that we'll be able to put down in the comments or something.
Yeah, if you want to send us an email, team at
There we go.
championincommand.com. But also, if you are seeing this on any other channel, just look around and see an opportunity to send us a message.
Yeah, see, she grounds it, and I'm just like, yeah, team at championandcommand.com, shoot us an email, and we'll make it happen. At least just start the conversation. And that's what it is. If that conversation just sparks you to get into action for yourself, great. If you need somebody to be there for you, awesome. We have that set up for you as well. Look forward to contacting with you or connecting with you. You know what I'm
Love
saying?
it. Thank you.
Champ.
That's so good.